the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Practitioner Brief September 20th, 2021. It's great to be here. I hope you all had an unbelievable weekend. I'm back. I had Yom Kippur on Thursday. That's why we did not have a show. I was off on Friday, just catching up from the fact that I wasn't here Wednesday, Thursday, obviously, and just getting back to things. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing well. I'd be remiss if I didn't start by letting you know tomorrow, Cyber Day, Georgia. So we're supposed to do a whole week. Tonight was supposed to be the kickoff. It was supposed to go Delta and COVID changed plans. So now Cyber Week, Georgia is February 21st, I believe, 2 weeks after RSA. Right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Go to cyberweekgeorgia.com. Sign up if you are in the Georgia area and you want to attend. Let me know. I'll get you a free pass. Just hit me up right here on LinkedIn, James J. Azar, and I'll get you taken care of. Be with us tomorrow. It's going to be great. We have an awesome panel with Kevin Gowan over at Synovus and Sheena Allen from Capway. We also have an incident response workshop tomorrow. So a lot of fun, an incident response workshop I'll be leading. You guys don't want to miss it. cyberweekgeorgia.com. Hit me up if you can get a pass or use code ATP50 for 50% off the pass for tomorrow and the entire week thereafter. All right, folks. Now, without further ado, let's get right into, because we've got a really, really busy show. But before we do that, it's coffee cup cheers times. So we'll get to all your comments here in just a moment. I'm seeing them all, and I'll be with all of you here in just a second. But before we do that, let's have a sip of whatever you're drinking this morning. Let me know what you're drinking. Coffee cup cheers or chai cup cheers if you're, or tea cup cheers if you're a tea person. Cheers. All right, folks, here we go. Morning to Mr. Flaw. It is coffee time. David, good morning to you as well. Good morning, lovely people. This is Harshel. How was your weekend? We can't complain, man. Marcia says, good morning. We are blessed. Morning all from this LinkedIn user, and happy Monday from Keith. Folks, let's get right into what we've got going on today because it's a busy show. So Mirai Botnet starts exploiting the OMIGod flaw as Microsoft issues more guidance. So Microsoft on Thursday, I wasn't around, published the additional guidance on addressing the Open Management Infrastructure Framework, along with the new protection to resolve the bug that affected within the Azure Virtual Machine Management extension of this. Only impacted, folks, Linux and Unix systems that are used in various Azure services and Azure virtual machines. So it's not a big one. It's not like proxy logon or any of the other ones where it impacted every single Windows user. This only impacts open source web-based enterprise management implementation that are used by OMI for the management of Linux and Unix systems. The Mirai Botnet is officially on the loose and targeting the unpatched machines that are not getting updated. So it's critical at this time that you update your machines. It's so, so important, because what ends up happening is these threat actors know that these machines are not patched. They're looking for them. They're scanning the internet for them. And the moment they find it, they're pouncing. There's very little repercussion. They'll get in, even if they decide not to do anything with it, they'll get in and they'll sit there. And they may not need to use you specifically. You just may be the springboard to a more sophisticated attack up or down your own supply chain. So keep that in mind, because supply chains are critical. They're an integral part of these types of vulnerabilities, where I take advantage of it only to move laterally and then across an island hop using this into other networks as well. So keep that in mind as well. Good morning to Mr. Matt Lee. Chai cup cheers, heart, shill, and good morning from the left coast. And good morning to the awesome David Hurley, who's with us this morning as well. We'll move to, and so get your Azure systems patched Please, if you're using OMI at all, please get this done, folks. We'll move to our next story, where a malware attack on the aviation sector is uncovered after going unnoticed for 2 years. The targeted phishing campaign aimed at the aviation industry for 2 years may be spearheaded by a threat actor operating out of Nigeria. It's highlighting how attackers can carry out small-scale cyber offensives for extended periods of times while staying under the radar. Cisco Talos dubbed the malware attack Operation Layover, building on previous research from the Microsoft Security Intelligence team in May of this year that delved into a dynamic campaign targeting the aerospace and travel sectors with spear phishing emails that distribute an actively developed loader, which then delivers revenge RAT or async RAT. The actor doesn't seem to be technically sophisticated. It's using off-the-shelf malware since the beginning of its activities without developing its own malware, according to the research. The actor also buys decryptors that allow the usage of such malware without being detected. Throughout the years, it has used several different cryptors, mostly bought through online forums, as seen on screen right here, folks. The threat actor is believed to have been active since at least 2013, even though unsophisticated, very, very, very consistent. The attacks involved emails containing specific Lourdes documents centering around the aviation or cargo industry that purport to be PDF files but link to a VB script file that's hosted on a Google Drive, which essentially leads to the remote access Trojans being downloaded. Cisco Talos said it found 31 different aviation-themed lures dating all the way back to August of 2018. Keep your eyes out for these types of vulnerabilities and attacks, folks. These are significant. AMD chipset driver vulnerability can allow criminals to obtain sensitive data. So chipmaker AMD has patched a driver vulnerability that could allow an attacker to obtain sensitive information from the targeted system. The flaw, which is tracked to CVE 2021-26333 and classified by AMD as medium severity, affects the company's platform security processor, chipset driver, which is used by several graphics cards and processors. AMD has advised users to update the PSP drivers to version 5.17.0.0 through a Windows update, or update the chipset driver to versions 3.08.17.735. All of these need to get patched immediately, so make sure you get that done. And here's a shout out to the good guys. Shout out to Europol, who bust a major cybercrime ring. They're arresting over 100 online fraudsters in the process. The law enforcement agencies in Italy and Spain dismantled an organized crime group linked to the Italian mafia that was involved in online fraud, money laundering, drug trafficking, and property crime, netting the gang about 10 million euros, around $11.7 million in illegal proceeds in just a year. The suspects defrauded hundreds of victims through phishing attacks and other types of online fraud, like SIM swapping, business email compromise, before laundering the money through a wide network of money mules and shell companies. According to Europol, the company operated out of Tenerife, which is in Spain's Canary Islands. This was a year-long sting operation that saw as many as 16 houses searches, resulted in 106 arrests, mostly in Spain and Italy, seizure of electronic devices, 224 different credit cards, SIM cards and point-of-sales terminal, a marijuana plantation, and equipment used for its cultivation and distribution. Also, 118 bank accounts have been frozen as a result of the bust. The criminal network is said to have been fashioned as a pyramid structure, different members roped in for their specialized roles. The arrested members, a majority of whom are Italian nationals with links to the mafia cartels, lured their victims through transferring large amounts of money to bank accounts under their control. The investigation was undertaken jointly by the Spanish National Police, Policía Nacional, and supported by the Italian National Police, Polizia di Stato, Europol, and Eurojust. Job well done. And the good guys put a ding on another cybercrime ring. So that's always a positive thing to see. And finally, an ongoing phishing campaign is targeting APAC and EMEA governments across the globe. Government departments in at least 7 countries in APAC and Europe and the Middle East and Africa regions have been targeted in a phishing campaign that's been going on since spring of 2020. It's focused on credential harvesting, folks. So a lot of times we see different phishing attacks take different life forms. Sometimes it's to take you into a document to enable macros to download some form of malware or payload onto your device. In a lot of cases, it's credential harvesting, where they're taking you to a page that will seem like you need to enter your Windows credentials. They want to get those credentials so that they can start to go through the different processes of gaining access to your to this specific data. The governments that were targeted were governments like Belarus, Georgia, Kyrgyzstan, Pakistan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. All of these geopolitically point that this could have been a Russian campaign, simply because Russia views all of these countries as strategic to its regional dominance, and also to offshoot the European and West's influence on those nations, as well as the Chinese influence on those nations as well. Although there's nothing clearly linking linking Russia to this. The link to an APT campaign targeting Ukraine, it's just tracked Operation Tricky Mouse and has ties to UNC 1151, also known as Sandworm. So again, could be Russian or could be Iranian. It could be the Russians using the Iranians for it as well. That's never a far-fetched possibility. So that's another one. And again, it's credential harvesting, and that's really, really important to understand. Really, really important to understand. Dan says it is I was thinking that 118 bank accounts seem like a lot, but based on the fraud vector, it makes a lot of sense. Yes, it does. And folks, tomorrow, Dan, who's running for the board of directors over at ISC Squared, will be joining me right here on the Practitioner Brief. It's a special episode. We'll talk a little news, and we'll talk about why you should vote for Dan in the upcoming election that ends on Wednesday. So final push. Let's get Dan on board. Go vote if you're a member of ISC Squared, and Dan will be joining me tomorrow right here to talk about his candidacy for the board of directors of ISC Squared, which is also very exciting. Also tomorrow, Cyber Day Georgia. We'll be here live at 9 a.m. Come hang out. Tomorrow night, David Hurley and I are hosting a dinner. If you're a CIO, CISO, or CTO in the Atlanta, Georgia area and want to attend, contact either myself or David Hurley. We'll have a live podcast that I'll be publishing at a later date with Kevin Gowan of Synovus and Carl Scafidi of Incom Payments. So join us there as well. If you can attend, go to cyberweekgeorgia.com. Use code ATP50 to get 50% off your pass for tomorrow and the full week in February. So you don't want to miss it. That's it for us here today. We'll be back with a lot more tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, folks, stay cyber safe. Cheers.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.